Today we'll discuss the duties and responsibilities of citizenship. Something we need to think about is that democracy does come at a cost. And there's this belief that liberty and equality can easily be trampled. And with that belief, it can be argued that the actions of citizens is what maintains our democratic institutions. Maintaining a system of government such as ours requires the help of its citizens through various duties and responsibilities. Civic virtue is defined by the beliefs and actions of individuals that are important to maintain the success of a community, or in our case, to maintain the ideals and success of the United States. Ideas highlighted in antiquity, and especially Greece and Rome, had a profound effect on the founding fathers. Although, as we discuss some of these ideas, I hope that you can recognize the apparent contradictions. The first thing we must consider when discussing civic virtue is the concept of the common good, or the public good, as it is often called. This concept emphasizes what is good for the public as a whole. Often public policies are adopted with the interest of the public as a whole rather than the interest of an individual lawmaker or a small group of people. Our lawmakers and other government officials are tasked with acting for the public good rather than for their own self-serving interest. Another idea is that of classical republicanism, and classical republicanism emphasizes elevating the interests of the community over the interests of the individual. While we hold our politicians to the standards of classical republicanism, it was also the desire to have citizens exemplify these virtues. This is where the contradiction with some contradictions with American thought can emerge. As American culture tends to be highly individualized, while classical republicanism is in some ways communal, especially when it comes to the beliefs regarding moral education. Moral education is another tenet of civic virtue, and the ancient philosophers, like Aristotle, believed in the importance of raising morally sound citizens, and saw it as the community's responsibility to ensure that the youth were being raised with upstanding moral character. Many of the values associated with moral education were teaching and instilling ideas of fairness, honesty, self-control, and trustworthiness within individuals, and you may notice the similarity to the core values that our school emphasizes. The idea of civic virtue influenced and continues to influence American notions of how ideal citizenship is carried out and what duties and responsibilities U.S. members of smaller communities have. Alright, let's talk now about the duties or the requirements of citizenship. A duty is something that you are required to do, so one duty I may have as a teacher is to deliver instruction and lesson plan. Or, if you work as a lifeguard in the summer, you have a list of duties that you're required to uphold. When we discuss citizenship, our duties are legally binding, meaning you are required by law to comply. One duty you must do to be a member of a jury when summoned. This is essential to maintaining one of our treasured liberties, which is your right to have a fair trial by a jury when accused. Likewise, if you witness a crime and are summoned to be a witness, it's your duty to comply. Another duty that some may not agree with is the mandatory school requirement until you're 16. It is your duty to attend school, and the government provides a free education through 12th grade. Considering the idea of public good, what purpose does compulsory education serve? That's something I'd like you to think about. One of the less popular duties is that of paying taxes. All of the wonderful or not so wonderful services that government provides, depending on how you look at it, costs money, and government must raise revenue to stay open. It is illegal to evade taxes. All right. Another duty is the boys out there, you're required to register for selective services, which is also known as the draft. And it's important to maintaining order and maintaining a civil society that we obey all laws. Responsibilities of citizenship may not be legally required. You're not going to get arrested for failing to do these things, but they are commonly accepted as the actions of an ideal citizen. To start, it is the responsibility of a citizen to vote. Something we will discuss in this class is voter turnout, and the United States has low voter turnout compared to other democracies around the world, and some have questioned whether voting should be a legal requirement. Likewise, many view giving back or volunteering to your community as essential as a civic duty and important to promoting the common good. This is especially important in local communities. Another responsibility is participating. We discussed in an earlier lecture that some simply view participation as voting, but to fully engage by attending rallies, going to town hall meetings, writing your senators or representatives, are some of the other methods of full participation in government. Overall, expressing discontent is considered paramount to participating in civic life. And then finally, being aware of current events, the activities of your government and government officials, as well as being well versed in the structures and functions of government, is considered a responsibility of citizens. After all, being unaware of the limits of government and unaware of the actions of the politicians on a large scale can breed tyranny. A well-informed populace is necessary to prevent government corruption and usurpation of power. This is why you often see civics and government courses incorporated into K-12 education. The citizenry has long recognized the necessity of informed individuals in society. Well, that's our lecture for today on the duties and responsibilities of citizenship. We'll see you next time.